Welcome back. As the Trump administration ramps up arrests of migrants at court hearings and what would otherwise be regular Homeland Security check-ins, our Maria Villarreal takes a look in our prime focus at how those arrests are affecting migrant families, many of whom have small children and are sometimes American citizens, and the chilling effect lawyers say it will have on the legal immigration process.
This is Carmen, walking out of a San Antonio immigration court, hands zip-tied behind her back with ICE agents forcing her into a secured transport van.
You want to help her out?
Moments after her immigration case was dismissed. Her husband, a U.S. citizen, walking nearby, trying to protect her.
Pues íbamos felices porque pensábamos que íbamos a dar un avance más a su caso. Y entramos y hasta en la misma corte, cuando están hablando con la juez, está uno de Inmigración sentado ahí mandando mensajes a los de afuera. Yo lo vi porque yo le dije a él, le dije, tú eres de Inmigración. Y él no me decía nada, se quedaba callado.
When you exited the court, what happened?
Se le amontonaron los agentes para quererla agarrar. Ella les dijo que tenía a sus hijas aquí en la casa, que por favor no se la llevara. Y no, a ellos no les importa nada de eso.
One of Carmen's 5 daughters, 7-year-old Galilea, worries her mother may never come home. Galilea and her sisters, also U.S. citizens.
And then my mom couldn't breathe, her hand was twisted, and I don't know, she was they put her in a dog cage, I don't know.
Attorneys for the Department of Justice filed to dismiss Carmen's case without notifying her attorneys, and the judge granted the request despite objections from her legal team.
Carmen walked out of the courtroom and was immediately detained by ICE because she was no longer under the jurisdiction and therefore the protection of the immigration court. Everything has been turned on its head because ICE is now seeking to dismiss all the cases before the court so that they can apply what's called expedited removal to people, and that essentially is a deportation without due process.
Expedited removal is a process that allows the government to quickly deport migrants without a hearing before an immigration judge. Under President Biden, the process applied to apprehended migrants who'd recently crossed into the U.S. near the border. But President Trump has expanded its use to apply to migrants apprehended in the interior of the country who've been in the U.S. for less than 2 years. Homeland Security defending the practice, saying in a statement that if migrants have a credible claim of fear, they will continue in immigration proceedings. But if no valid claim is found, aliens will be subject to a swift deportation. Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch is the immigration attorney representing Carmen. She calls this family separation 2.0.
What makes this, I think, even worse than the family separations at the border is that many of these families have been living in the United States for many years. And like Carmen, these kids are U.S. citizens, their spouses are U.S. citizens, and these families are getting torn apart. And the aftermath is so traumatic.
Have you been able to talk to your mom?
Yes. Yesterday I talked to her.
You did?
Yep.
Did you share any secrets?
No.
No secrets. What did you tell her?
That she told me that she misses me, and I told her I miss her. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then what do you do now that your mommy's been gone for a little bit? What are you trying to do to help around here?
Save money.
You're saving money. What are you saving money for?
To take her out.
Yeah?
Carmen is just one of thousands caught up in the administration's latest attempt to detain and deport more migrants. The Immigrant Legal Resource Center in San Antonio has been sending volunteers to this immigration court for weeks to help people understand their rights and document all of this.
Is this private property?
we'll just close the door. How about that?
Okay, that's great.
The tactic is to terrorize, to corner people into making a hard decision of not showing up, right, to their court hearing, and also to be very cruel. If there is arrests or detainments, they want to show very visible cruelty of that very inhumane process that it has become.
Why is she being detained?
Similar scenes like this are also playing out at DHS check-in facilities and immigration courts across the country. In New York, we found Ambar praying for her husband's safe return after what they thought was a routine check-in with immigration officials.
Haciendo nada malo, que lo que queremos es estar juntos. Lo único que le pido a Dios y a ellos que tengan un poquito de piedad para nosotros que somos su familia. Yo no tengo a más nadie acá. Yo estoy sola con mi hija, no quiero separarme de él.
Moments later, her husband John emerged, handcuffed. His stepdaughter overcome with emotion. In 2023, ABC News spoke with the Colombian-Venezuelan family after they were separated at the border and later reunited.
Sorry.
John was supposed to check in later this month, but ICE asked him to come in 2 weeks early on the 2-year anniversary of his arrival in the U.S., making him susceptible to expedited removal. It's unclear at the moment under which authority he's being detained. Outrage now growing as reports of workplace ICE raids ramp up.
What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. A 4-year-old girl taken, families separated, friends quite literally disappearing.
The administration did not respond to our request for information on expedited removal or the cases involving John and Carmen. But in an interview with ABC's Matt Gutman, Border Czar Tom Homan laid out his plan.
I'm going to flood the zone. We're going to flood the zone because now we got to send a whole team to look for one guy. If we got 100 guys, we got to send a lot of teams. So if they don't want to give access to the bad guy in the jail, then we got to go to the community. If we can't find the community, we'll find them at the workplace. We're stepping up worksite enforcement all across the country, including LA.
That's far from what the administration first promised.
We have to get them out. And we start with the worst of the criminals. We start with the drug lords. We start with the worst of the criminals.
Eduardo and Carmen have been together for more than 10 years. And he admits life without her is hard on him, but it's hard especially on his girls.
¿Cómo estás ahorita?
Pues está triste. Ya quiere salir desesperada. Quiere ver a sus hijas, abrazarlas. Ella piensa que no las va a volver a ver. Dice que no puede ni dormir a veces porque nomás está pensando en sus hijas. Pues está sufriendo ahí adentro mucho. Y no nomás ella, muchas personas, igual que yo, también están sufriendo de separar, que nos hayan separado de nuestras esposas o nuestros familiares.
What do you tell her to give her hope? ¿Qué dicen para hacer esperanza?
Pues le digo que se calme, que yo estoy luchando aquí para tratar de sacarla, que no la voy a dejar adentro, que nunca la voy a dejar sola. Voy a luchar por ella hasta más no poder.